Let's go. You are incredible. Your body has a purpose. Your life has a purpose. You were designed to live the best life possible. Do you truly understand your body? You see, I asked that question to myself several years ago, and I realized that I didn't. And most humans today don't fully understand their body and how it functions, which is causing many to actually stay stuck in a lot of physical limitations, which is why today I have an amazing guest. Very often, or rather seldomly, do I bring guests on my podcast, but I'm excited to introduce to you one of the most incredible people that I have met, but that has made a tremendous impact on my life, specifically on my body, as I was going through the darkest moments of my life back in 2020. Back in 2018, I went to Haiti on a mission trip, and I had a couple of viruses that hit my body that literally destroyed and collapsed my body. And in that whole transition, I ended up with cervical stenosis, nerve damage, muscle fatigue, and just causing a lot of devastation on my bones and in my muscles, which for the past 4 years I had been struggling with. And we'll be talking about more about that in today's episode. But today I have an amazing guest. Her name is Kristi, and she's recently married now a year, Kristi Barker. She is coming to us out of Canada, Regina, Canada, and she is a physiotherapist who has a master's in physical therapy from Canada. And, you know, she played collegiate volleyball in Arkansas for 4 years. She's an amazing physiotherapist who really discovered this passion for what she is doing now on a larger scale through Reach Rehab, which she's going to break down what that is in today's episode. But Kristi recognized the lack of access to physiotherapy after she went to Uganda, Africa, to help distribute wheelchairs to people with disabilities. So in that, when COVID happened, she started to establish kind of her presence on social media, and she started doing a couple of videos, and she started getting amazing feedback from how the knowledge that she was sharing was impacting her, which really took off her presence on social media. I was gracious enough to find her in August of 2020, and we've been in relationship ever since, as my physiotherapist. And today I'm excited to really have this discussion with her, because we're going to deep dive on the topic of the importance of understanding our body. So let's jump into today's episode, and I hope you enjoy this conversation.
Mic check. Mic sound okay? Camera 1 good? Camera 2 good? All right, here we go. Today, I have an incredible honor and privilege to introduce to you all somebody that has been kind of my hidden secret in my life that I've spoken about, but not publicly in this way. And I'm super excited to present Kristi Barker now, who got married about a year ago. And my friend, thank you so much for this. I've been waiting 2 years for us to connect and just have an incredible conversation. So welcome to the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and thank you for having me. I feel so blessed and honored to come on your podcast. Like, you mean so much to me and our connection, and you've provided a lot of great knowledge my way as well. So thank you.
It's mutual. And we want to do something together. I've never done this publicly with anyone else, which is cool. I am a coffee lover, as Kristi is as well. So we decided, let's start off. I'm the weird one. I don't have a small little mug, but we decided to do a shot of espresso together to start this episode. Cheers. Start it off a good mood. Ready? Here we go. To an incredible episode together. That's it right there.
Now energy is going to be through the roof. Look out.
Now let's go. So I'm excited for today's episode because there is so much that I am just grateful for. And here in the States, we're recording this during the Thanksgiving week. It will be aired after Thanksgiving, but I do just want to take a moment to just say how grateful I am for you and for what you do and what you've done to my life, because I came to you at a very dark place in my life physically. Can you believe August of this year is already 2 years since we connected?
No, I cannot believe that. That's crazy.
So the beginning of August, and this was during the pandemic. Many of you know my story. In 2018, I went to Haiti, came back from a missions trip. I was 5 days later in the hospital for 11 days. I came down with 3 tropical viruses. And from that moment, after making it through that terrible experience, I started to have very bad body secondary side effects. And I was desperate, and I reached out to you through social media. God bless social media and Instagram. And you were so gracious to meet with me and just have a genuine conversation to see how you could help. One of the things that I love about you and what you do as an expert in your field is you are always wanting to see how you can help. Like, you have a heart to help and a heart to serve. And I'm excited to share with one of the things that you do on the nonprofit side. I think that kind of stems from your heart place of what you did in Uganda, which is a great story that I want to touch on. But just your graciousness to listen to where I was at, meet me where I was at, and then support in ways to make my life better. You know, I was coming with nerve pain. I was coming with shoulder pain. At the time, I didn't know any of this. I was just screaming, Kristi, help me. My shoulder hurts. I think it's coming from my back. And I read today's I read the message that I sent you originally, and I was laughing because I said, I have shoulder pain and I think it's coming from my back. Like, if I really knew, I had no idea. And right away, we jumped on a consultation, and you quickly said, here's how I can help. And I think that is why I'm just so grateful for you. I love what you do. I love what your company, Reach Rehab, does, which I want to spend some time so that the people can know exactly what you do. But I just want to take a time to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I appreciate it. It takes a willing heart to change and want to make those changes and to see where you're at. And couldn't have been better because you're so open-minded and also willing to learn. So I feel like it was a great teamwork. Absolutely. But I appreciate that. Thank you. Kind words.
No, my pleasure. My pleasure. And today I really want to talk about with your experience. And I love that you're not just somebody that teaches, but you live it, right? You teach.
Try.
Well, and when I say live it, it's like you've been through the experiences, right? You've had your injuries. You've been a collegiate athlete. Like, you've been in the bodybuilding field. Like, you've been in places that a lot of times most people don't do. They go to school, they study it, and maybe they live it somewhat in their life by being active, but like, you really immerse yourself in that, which is what I think makes you so great at it, because you live it through your body and through your experiences, right? So today I'd really like to talk about the importance of understanding our body. I think that's a topic that's not given the value and the importance that it deserves. Because when I came to you, even as a personal trainer and helping people through their health journey, I was disconnected with my body. And had it not been falling into this deep, dark place of mine that caused me to now be, what the heck is happening to my body? Like, it's breaking down on me. I wouldn't have gotten to understand this piece. So please share, what is your viewpoint on that, and what do you believe about that?
Well, I completely agree. I feel like if I could tell anybody anything, the biggest component of physical therapy that is not talked about enough is understanding our body on a different level. So I'm not talking about your strength or your range of motion. We're talking about how your beliefs of your pain and how your past experiences and trauma, whether it's mental or physical, are impacting people's injuries. So I completely agree. I myself learned about it in school, and you have an idea, but until you go through it yourself, it's life changing. So if I can teach people how to prevent even getting into that place and the place you were also in by seeing the red flags and those signs early, and treating the body as a whole. So treating your mental health, treating your physical health, accepting where you're at, changing your beliefs about your pain can tremendously help you with your recovery. So if you're someone that's tuning in today and you have lived a life with constant pain, this is absolutely for you. You need to definitely listen to this entire show, because I was also in pain. I was in pain for at least a year and a half, radiating sharp, severe nerve pain. And I did all the physical because I am a physical therapist. So
Yeah.
I covered my basics with the physical aspect of it, and I still wasn't getting better. And that's when it hit me. And I realized, okay, by now these tissues should be healed. And that's probably what a lot of people have heard from their therapists is they will say, we don't have any other objective measure showing why you continue to have these symptoms. And that's, I hope, a turning point when you listeners are like, okay, I have to look at other areas of my life. What is how is my mental health? Am I surrounded by good people? Am I supported? What do I believe about my pain? Am I being a victim of my pain? Because even myself, like, I got into a phase of, oh, like, am I ever going to get better? Is this just how it's going to be? Am I going to have to accept this is my life? And the answer is no. You do not need to accept
That's
a
right.
life of pain. And maybe you need to be managing your pain. Maybe you are someone that has had an extreme trauma. So every case is different. But
Right.
for the most part, what you believe about your pain will dramatically change your life. So I started practicing that. I started setting better boundaries with the stress factors in my life. And it's interesting how that pain started to go away. And we addressed that with you too in your life. Remember, you weren't taking enough breaks, and you started taking more breaks, adding in your breath work. The power of breath work. Like, honestly,
That's
I
so
wish
true.
it wasn't so boring. I hate to say that, but let's just call it what it is. I find it boring, but you know what? It took me from living in sharp, severe pain every day of my life to no pain.
Yeah.
No pain.
Very
Yes.
true. Very true. And I remember at the very early stages of our conversation, there was so much assessments that you walked me through, not only on the physical, but asking me questions about myself, right, as a person, about things surrounding me, about my environment, about relationships and
Yes.
things like that. And even the words that I was speaking about myself, and how you would assess that to then reflect the importance that all of these things, whether you believe it or not, subconsciously and then consciously end up impacting you and
Yes.
make what you're going through increase the pain and
Yes.
all the stress and frustration that I remember I would just scream at you, not literally, but like figuratively, like,
Yeah.
what's happening, right? And
Yes.
and I think you hit the nail on the head with that we sometimes don't look at that enough.
Yes. And I feel like I hate to call it the victim, but like I've done it myself without
Yeah.
even knowing it, because I like to think I'm strong mentally. But everyone goes through those moments. When you have an injury, it changes. It just changes. It changed me. It made
That's right.
me more irritable. It made me have less energy. It made me just like, you're in so much pain. That's all you can focus on, right? But
Yeah.
I really encourage you that if you're someone who's like, oh, don't do that because that's going to hurt, or oh, is it going to always be like that? Try your best to reframe those thoughts. Reframe those thoughts. If it happens, replace it with a good one. I am getting better. I can do this now. Celebrate the small wins. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes of like just being like practicing self-compassion. Like, we're human. Taking a break, allowing yourself to like be upset that this happened to you, but then also change that mindset. I am getting better. I will get better. I am feeling better. And changing that mindset, and that basically what it does in our body is it tells our nervous system how our nervous system and our muscles communicate to our brain. It changes those pathways. It's absolutely amazing. There's research on this. It's so amazing that how we talk about our body, and even if talk to our pain. I know it sounds kind of wishy-washy, but I learned to acknowledge and accept my pain. So for example, I would say, okay, sorry, that's my coffee machine going on over there.
Okay.
But like, so let's say I had some symptoms. I had nerve pain shooting down my arm. So before I'd be like, oh my God, like, why did that happen? Or oh, is it going to get worse? Oh, I better stop. Or, that's like the old train of thought, the old
Yeah,
patterns.
absolutely.
So then I trained myself to acknowledge, I would train myself and say, okay, hello, pain. I know you're there. I don't need you to tell me that because I am safe, I am
Mm,
healthy, and I'm capable. And
that's
I
good.
promise you that you continue to practice having those patterns, it will come. And all of a sudden, your pain that was 10 out of 10 is going to be 5. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, that pain is going to be 2. And then 0 out of 10. You're going to have no pain because we're not only just treating the physical, we're treating the mental, which the mental, like our brain, is what creates pain. I mean,
That's right.
it
It
sounds
drives it.
like
No, it
it
drives it.
drives our
Yeah.
pain
Yeah.
because, like, now I'm kind of getting on a rant, but
Please.
latest research tells us that pain isn't like it's real. It clearly is real. I experience pain, you experience pain, but it's what our brain tells us it is.
That's
That
right.
is what pain is.
Yeah.
So if we can control our thoughts and stop thinking, playing victim, so like giving into that pain and always just like that hurts, that hurts, that hurts, and focusing on it, and instead accepting and then pushing that positive mindset forward, it will do wonders.
Yeah.
Yes, it changed my
Yeah.
life.
Because I think the more we focus on it in a negative state, it just magnifies and it becomes worse, right? And one
Yes,
thing that I really learned was, can I find the good in this? What about this right now feels good? Can I find good in it? Changing the
yes,
perspective of whatever we focus on to then allow that to influence us versus, oh my gosh, this hurts, this hurts. Well, yeah, if you keep on thinking it hurts, even though it's the truth of it, it does hurt.
yeah,
But if you give it attention, right? If you allow it to consume,
yes,
it will then consume you, take over, and make it worse. And you said a
yes,
really critical word. You said practice.
yes.
This is something I had to recondition my understanding on because
That's
everything
true.
came so easy for me. It was like
Yes,
bodybuilder, that's all I focused on, that's all I did. It's like, okay, I know exactly how to build muscle, I know exactly how to grow, I know exactly what to do for me that will give me results. But when that's gone and you can no
yes,
longer lean on that, we've got to relearn how not to focus on what we can't do, but focus on
yes,
what we can do, even if it's small, right?
yes,
Take that as a win, but in the practicing of it daily, which took me
yes.
months,
Me
if
too.
not
And
almost a
it is
year
something.
to learn, right?
I'm glad you brought that up, David, because it is something that I think commonly we as humans are like, why am I not getting better? Why can't I do this? That it does. It takes practice. It's just like when you go to the gym and you see strength gains. It's not just after one day. It's after
That's right.
practicing. And if I'm lifting, I'm strengthening my bicep. Same thing as you're strengthening your mindset. You're strengthening that neurological pathway of how your brain communicates to your muscles, and that is where the difference will be. And I
Yeah.
agree. I'm not saying for people to ignore your pain because like that isn't what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we're changing the story. We're
Yeah, that's
changing.
right. Good.
We're acknowledging that pain is there. So, oh hello pain. Like we're looking at pain as if it's our friend because pain kind of is actually. Hate
Mm-hmm.
to say it, but without pain, then I wouldn't know how to progress. I wouldn't know what things I shouldn't be doing. So like if people could look at pain in a different way, just acknowledge, okay, that pain is there. It sucks, but it will get better.
Yeah.
And I am getting better. And telling yourself, okay, you're there to protect me, but I don't
Mm.
need that. I'm safe. And the more that you tell yourself, I am safe to move, I am safe to move, I am getting better, like affirmations, it's amazing. It is
Yeah.
amazing.
And
Anyway,
it does come
yeah.
down to that perspective, right? How are you viewing this? Because
Yes.
it's not about, like you said, ignoring and suppressing, like, oh, allowing our ego based conscious to take over and say, all right, I'm strong, nothing hurts me. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Like that.
there,
We're not saying to fake. Like, yeah.
when you acknowledge it, look, as humans, when you allow yourself to experience, that's what acknowledging means. I recognize I'm angry. Okay, acknowledge it. I'm freaking angry, right? Or,
Yes.
man, my elbow really hurts. Acknowledge it. It hurts. And when we
Yes.
can acknowledge it, in a sense, at least in my experience, I take away the control that it has over me, because then I can allow myself to decide, do I want to continue to have this control the way I feel and the way my day is going to go, which you taught me a
Yes.
lot of that, or am I going to acknowledge and say, okay, it's there, I release it. However, right, it's not hurting me. I'm
Yes.
safe. It's going to be
You're in
okay.
control.
That's right. So we
Yes.
take back control versus the pain deciding how to live in the moment and how it's going to dictate how we live that
Yes.
day.
I think of pain as this little, like the angel and the demon on the shoulder, but maybe not two, but just one little, let's say there's a little pain guy sitting here,
Yeah.
and you have a choice how you want to perceive your pain, right? You can
Good.
perceive your pain as, this is a lesson. This is it's teaching me my body. Again, learning about our body, right? So
Yes.
if it hurts to lift 100 pounds, that's great. My body told me, you know what, you're not ready for that. That's our body's way of communicating. Our body clearly can't, well, I can talk, but like,
Yeah, of
listening to
course.
our body, understanding our limits. And I love what you said. I'm trying to remember now how you just said it, but basically just listening to your body. Hold on, what did you just say again? You're onto something
It's
there.
like acknowledging it, right? So that it doesn't control, and it's like you
Control.
recognize it's there. So now you can dictate and decide what that's going to do for you.
So yes, exactly. So pain, the little guy, let's say, or girl or whatever, no gender.
Yeah.
No gender. So pain is, you have the decision. Do you want pain to control your life, or you can envision pain as giving you control? Because again, it gives you more information about your body and about what you're experiencing. So
Yeah.
if you can, again, acknowledge and recognize, hey, I have control over my body. I don't want to be too cocky, but I can almost tell you that each and every patient that comes to me, or someone that's in pain, there should be a relieving position. So remember when we got you extending through your neck, and you were finally relief, like you could find that relief. So yes, that's important. You can see a physical therapist to be able to guide you to find that relief. But I want you to know that those high amounts of pain, you don't have to live there. You don't. You can have control over your pain by listening to your body, and then being proactive with your physical health, but then also training your mental health. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we do the opposite. At least, again, I shouldn't say we, it's me. I remember doing the opposite. I would try to force it and push through it.
Yes.
And
no, you can
that
say we.
is the worst thing
yeah,
I have learned that we can do, because then it is unbearable. I remember texting you close to midnight when I was in LA and saying, Kristi, I don't know what the heck is happening. I feel like my body is on fire. I can't move my neck. I can't move this. I can't move that. And it was like, okay, relax, calm. We've got to now find a way that, one, we can embrace what's happening, which I'd like you to share on that. How can we learn to embrace pain, right? Or embrace the situations that we're dealing with in our body for it to work for our favor?
Yes. Number one, I think, is understanding that it's temporary. I think
that's cool.
Everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but most people in their life has experienced some sort of acute trauma. So let's say even an ankle sprain, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even ankle sprains, they hurt. Like it's sharp, it hurts, it's swollen. So like with you and your neck injury and me in a similar circumstance, it feels like in that moment, it feels like nothing is going to take it away. Yeah. So I think actually just the education of understanding that acute pain does not last typically longer than 2 to 3 days. But even then, I mean, it sucks. I'm not going to say it doesn't suck. It does.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like as soon as I educated you what to do in those first 2 days, and then the next time you had a flare up, then you knew what to do. You gained control of your own life, because there are, and then I think also telling you that it's normal to have ups and downs and to have those acute flare-ups. Normalizing that. I mean, I've very rarely just seen anyone just be like, oh, I'm better, that's right. Normalizing and taking that fear away, because if we normalize it and we're like, okay, and I'm gonna admit it, like I hurt my knee recently and it blew up the other day, and I got in that victim panic mode. I'm not gonna lie, I was upset,
Of course, we're
angry.
human.
Yes. But the difference is I allowed myself to feel my feelings. I think number one, so for mental
Yes.
health,
Good
it's
point.
okay to be upset. You don't have to hide that, because I think that's where pain also thrives, as if we
Yes.
don't acknowledge our emotions. So acknowledge that I was angry and frustrated and with my injury, but then reminding myself, okay, this is only going to be swollen for 2 days. It's only going to be severe, well, maybe higher amounts of pain temporarily, because most
Yes.
things in life are temporary.
That's
And
right.
that told me, and I remember when the first or the second time you had a flare up and you didn't even reach out, I'm pretty sure you messaged me and you're like, I knew what to do. I was so excited, and my pain is already down. And it was like after a day and a half, and I was like,
Yep.
could not have been more proud. Could
But
not have been more proud.
that is the awareness piece that is so crucial for us to understand. And again, that is the connection piece there, right? About understanding our body and how to handle situations that occur so that they don't overwhelm us and then end up paralyzing us, right? Because
Yes.
when you shared that information with me, up until that point, I had no clue. It was just what I had always learned: brute force, be strong, tough it out. It'll go away on its own. No, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
No pain, no gain. Bad.
That's bad. Thank you. Thank you for saying
Yeah.
that. And it's about recognizing also how the body works, the complexity that the body has, right? Of recognizing,
Yes.
okay, understanding the nerve pain versus the muscle pain, and knowing that each one of those things are different, that if we do or we are suffering with this situation,
Yes.
if it's nerve related, like knowing what can happen, the expectations of what can
Yes.
happen by this experience alleviates the stress that when it happens, like, okay, I know what to do.
You're prepared.
It's kind of like the analogy that I say: if you're going to go on a road trip and you anticipate that your tire might blow out, you might run out of gas, you might delay, all these things might happen. Not that you're expecting them or want them to happen. They just might happen. It's the nature of the
Yes.
situation. When it happens, it's like, okay, I'm more calm and collective and I can deal with it, right? I can go through it.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what why we're meeting here today, so that people listening can understand that they can have control over their injury, over their life.
Yes.
And acknowledging, and the thing is, I think the biggest thing for me is, so again, learning it in school, that how our mental health and what our beliefs and our fears impact our pain. I thought I would recognize it. So when I was injured, I was like, but I don't feel stressed. So then I automatically was like, oh, I'm not stressed. That's not a factor. So someone listening even now, you could be thinking that, oh, that's not, I don't gotta worry. I don't. But you don't even have to feel stress, because it has more so to do with your nervous system. And that's not something that we can see, but it is something you can feel. It is hard to know though, but for myself, the only way that I knew that all of a sudden I needed to deal with my mental health aspect to help recover fully was because I started doing breath work, and I was like, well, I may as well just see if this is like part of it, you know?
Yeah.
I did that first day. So that's when I was in that acute high pain, right? Just high amount of pain. Is this going to be forever? I did 10 deep breaths, maybe like for a minute every hour. So every hour I set a timer on my phone, and I did deep breaths. I slowed it down. And honestly, it took my pain from like that, honestly, 9 out of 10 pain to like 2 out of pain,
Wow.
2 out of 10 pain,
That's
just in that
incredible.
one day.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was an aha moment for me. I'm like, whoa, even though I'm a physio, I didn't even recognize the signs that my nervous system was ramped up. Actually, that's a bad word. I like the word hypersensitive. Our nervous system, that's our nervous system's job, is to protect us. And so that's what my body was doing. My body thought it was helping me by being hypersensitive. Oh, that hurt you last time when you bent that way. You know, our nervous system then lets us know. But the trouble is after our nervous system has been so sensitive for a long period of time, sometimes it stays sensitive. So even though that my muscle was fully strong and healed, but I went to do that movement pattern, if I went to bend the exact same way I got injured, my nervous system was like, no, sent pain to my muscles, right? So that's how it works. So doing that breath work takes us, it's kind of like when we see a bear, right? Our nervous system goes into that fight or flight, like run.
Yeah.
But instead, when we do our breath work, it takes us into that rest, digest, and it takes our nervous system from that high threshold. And if we can practice it each and every day, it lowers that threshold so that I can go and bend and pick something off the floor and it doesn't spike my nervous system. I hope that makes sense.
Totally, because that's exactly what happened with me.
Yes.
I would restrain or restrict myself from certain things.
Yeah, looking
right?
down. Like, you were so scared to look down. You're like,
Yeah. Yeah. And even the way I would sit, right, which I want to talk about posture, which is a whole other thing that really changed my life, which I want to really touch on that. But that all of those little instances that just fire these memory patterns and nerve that the nerve has created, right? These neurological connections based on traumas and things, because our body holds and has all this memory, it responds to that. And with that, it was like even learning to be okay with that, and knowing that you said, that you clearly taught me, was that movement is medicine to the body.
1,000%. Yes.
And what that really does to us when we understand, and that's again back to that piece, right? Understand what it actually means for our body when we do that.
Yes.
So can you share a little bit about that experience?
Absolutely. So our nervous system, like our nerves, we have lots of different nerves. Most people know like the sciatic nerve, but we have nerves throughout our entire body. Think of it as like a webbing, right? So if I do a movement on this arm, it'll still impact my nerves and the rest of my body, right? To a certain extent. But our nervous system, our nerves need to move just like our muscles. So I don't know, I don't want to flex, but so our muscles like contract and relax, they lengthen and shorten, right? So our nerves need to be able to move as well. So if we're stuck in a certain posture all day, and again, it's not necessarily about the posture itself, okay? So I really want people to get away from, I have to be in this perfect posture. It's not about that. It's about being in a prolonged position for a long period of time. So why, though, people commonly get pain when they sit like this, or they're looking at their phone like this for prolonged periods of time, is because that the nervous system now, those nerves back here, have now been on stretch for a long period of time. And that's how our nervous system sends us impulses and input to our body, is by the stretch of them. Okay. So if they're on, that's like me shouting like, hey, hey, hey. And then, but instead of being like overloaded, yelling, hey, like that's how I envision our nervous system, like letting us know like, hey, like I can't be on stretch that long. So when we're in one position for too long, our nervous system is again building that, it's getting super sensitive, right? So then when it gets so sensitive, that's when it's relaying to the body. We have to tell the body that like we can't tolerate that, and that's when we get that pain.
Yeah. And that is again understanding and being, two words, intentional and having awareness, right? Which I really learned with you, was having the awareness of what's happening, right? What am I doing? Because oftentimes we get into this robotic state, autopilot state, that we don't even, it's just like go, 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 go. And at the time I was creating so many things in my business and all that. And it was like, I need to work. I need to finish this. I need to finish. However, I was looking past what my body was actually speaking to me. It was telling me, it was giving me signs. It was saying, hey, you're pushing me too much. Like, give me a break. Give me a break.
You're right.
And if we don't listen to that, that's where we can really fall into these physiological traps that can really end up hurting us, right?
Absolutely. So do you mind if I share a bit of what I prescribed for you? So then at that point, so David was sitting for prolonged periods of time, again, working on a lot of online business projects. And I just encouraged him to, you know what, get outside, go for a walk. It was it's seriously something that simple. You would think, oh, that can't be that good. But getting him out of that prolonged position, right? So I hate to do this, because like it could even just be me sitting like this for 3 hours, right? Like even if I'm in perfect, in quotations, perfect posture, if I'm sitting like this for prolonged periods of time, even longer than an hour, you're probably still going to get pain, right? So getting out of that position. So number one, I recommended he, again, moves his body, which he did. as soon as he would go for some walks, and he still got some work done, I believe, like you can change, you just have to change what you're understanding. I think you listen to podcasts, or you're
Yeah.
doing something in addition, feeding that mental health, your self
Right.
growth at the same
That's right.
time. But the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway, especially nerve related pain, but pain in general, the majority of people, if you're not getting better, it's because you're not changing positions frequently enough. So
Good
meaning,
point.
if I'm someone who stands all day, so if I'm standing all day for 8 hours, and I don't try to go and sit every half hour, or lie down or whatever, any
Yeah.
kind of posture change, you're going to get pain. If you sit, even if I again sit like this for 3 hours at a time, try to instead change your position. So that's why those sit to stand desks are like have been like all the rage in the last few years. But
Yeah.
technically, people weren't getting better if they didn't actually change the height of the desk,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
Every 20 to 30 minutes. They're like, well, why aren't I getting better? I got to sit to stand desk. And it's like, well, you have to change your posture.
It seems so funny, but it's true. It's something that we don't think about because it's not taught enough. And I think that's why people like yourself that are now speaking boldly about this and educating the community, educating us on how to or what to look at and to focus on these things become life-saving changes. Because for me, I still do it today, by the way. I still have my timer. I get up, I go for walks. Walking outdoors has now become like the best thing for me. It's what I absolutely love. So I thank you for that.
You're
and
welcome.
I encourage that even with all of my students, right? Setting a timer every hour, get up and just being intentional about it and being willing to change what you've always done, right?
And practice again.
That's right. And bring things that are going to help you, because that's the whole point, right? How can we get better? And it's even 1% better, right? How can I improve? And through that compounds and just makes a difference. So I remember one thing, you sat down, let me see your posture. How do you work? And I remember I would sit on the balcony outside there in the house in downtown LA, and I would sit like this, right? And I was on the computer, and I would look for hours. I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I would be outside by 6 in the morning, and I would work till 11 or 12 p.m. at night. Right?
Yes.
And then I'd go to bed, which is another whole story, 4 hours of sleep, 4.5 hours of sleep. And then I'd wake up and I'd do it all over again, day after day after day after day.
And your nervous system was like, stop!
Yeah. And so
yes,
I had to reteach myself. I had to relearn new behavior patterns, new movement patterns, new positionings, new postures, which then led me to getting a new desk, right? Which then led me to no longer having the computer on my lap, putting it in a proper position, having it at the proper eye height, right? So that I'm not looking down and stretching those nerves.
Except, I hate to cut
no,
you off.
please.
Except those things are all helpful, but the biggest picture is the fact, though, you learn to get out of that position.
Right. Yeah,
like,
of course.
You're right. Like, I don't want people to, like, clearly it probably isn't helpful to do that. But the biggest takeaway is that you optimized your environment, but then you are changing your position frequently. That's why it worked for you. Yeah.
It did. It did.
I just want to make sure, because people get caught on that. They get caught on it's got to be here, and it's not about that. Like,
any posture that we're in a prolonged period of time will do impact on our body. So that's why, again, movement is medicine. And the more frequently we can introduce that, better overall we will feel, and it will do for us. So for the audience that's listening, how can people, or what can people start doing today to start learning to understand their body a little bit better, or to connect with their body?
Honestly, my number one question I ask almost every patient that walks through my door is, what position is your body in for the majority of the day? So it's usually, the people I usually see aren't like, oh, I get up every 20 minutes and then I'm sitting, and then I'm standing, then I'm walking, like, that's not why I see people. The two people I see, you got your extreme people. I'm going to, admittedly, I'm going to include you in on this.
Please.
Either you and they're the overachievers, and they're either go, never sit down, or they're just sitting down so that they're cramming and getting all this work done. I'm the go, like, I used to be. I'm practicing, getting better. But I was,
Same.
yeah. Go, overachieve, got to do this, got to help everybody else. And I'm last and it's not, and I'm going to tough it out and fix it. Okay. Those people that go. So let's say they're always walking, right? So
Yeah.
if I could get them to reflect, okay, what are you always doing for the majority of the day? Oh, maybe I actually need to sit down. Like everyone was always like, sitting is the death of society, or I'm just made that up. But like sitting,
Yeah, good point. It
sitting
makes
isn't,
sense. Yeah. I get you.
sitting isn't death, but for the majority of people, the reason why it is because the majority of people sit. But you do have those people who just never sit, right? So
Yeah.
what do they, if they can reflect what they're in? So let's go on the other hand, people that don't do enough. So this could be someone who's in severe pain and they think that they should be resting and they should be like, oh, I got to rest, I got to lay on the couch and I got to protect and I got to be safe and I can't move. Those are the people that are actually in the highest amounts of pain because they're not moving enough and then they're fearful of moving. And again, it sets that pattern of the brain. But really, we want something right in the middle, right? We want to be again moving. And again, I have to practice this daily. I'm not perfect at this by any means. But the more that you can, if you can look at your life, anyone who's listening right now, you could even write it down on a piece of paper. Okay, I sit from 9 to noon. Okay. And then let's say they're like, oh, I also work from 2 to 5. And oh, wow, I'm sitting. Picture that. Yeah. So what should you be doing in your evening? Should you be sitting? Probably not, like,
no, good point. Yeah.
Because like everybody's like, well, it's my job, I can't. Well, pretty sure you can get up to go to the bathroom whenever you want.
Yeah, that's right.
Like it literally takes 30 seconds. Even if I just get up out of sitting, do like 10 repetitions of these, and I go back down into sitting.
That's
game
simple.
changer.
That's right.
That simple. And that's what I think that's what I wish I could teach people. And that's like been my passion on social media and on my Reach Rehab account is that it doesn't have to be complicated. And some companies prefer to make it complicated so they can make money off you. And maybe that's bad of me to say that. But
it's the truth. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, I hate to say it, but like products that aren't motivating you to move. And let's say, and sometimes braces are needed, but like, let's say those posture braces, it's like, okay, you put those on and what? So it's just preventing you of not moving even more. You're just like, right. So just be, and I don't want to like, it's hard because I'm going to get some backlash, but
it's okay. It's your opinion.
Story short, people what they need to understand is, okay, number one, what position is my body in most of the day? Okay. If it's sitting, then in your evenings, try to stand or walk. Or when you are at work, try to get up and go for a walk or try to up and stand. Okay. If you're on your feet all day, try to take more breaks sitting. And you're going to witness your pain dramatically change. And that wasn't even anything really that hard to do, right? Other than like setting that alarm, understanding that you have to do it. Like those things are hard because we have to be mindful of them.
That's right.
But if you can do that, I can tell you right now, like that's not even me being like, David, you have to go do an hour of physical therapy exercises every day. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can.
If you need it, right? If you need it, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
But the simplicities of those things were absolutely game changers for me. But they were the hardest thing to do because it took intentionality, right? It took me to be conscious of it, making the choice to practice each day with it and commit to it. Because look, this has been a 4-year, November 16th of this year was 4 years that I've been dealing with this, right?
Wow.
It's been a 4-year journey. And today I can thankfully say, because of your help and your advice and now getting some other work here and my commitment to it, like I'm completely better, right? Like no more nerve pain. And for me to say that based on how we first started, no nerve pain is like, oh my gosh, I never thought I would be able to get to this place. Right?
Yes.
And being able to recover my range of motion and be able to reduce my muscle pain and be able to learn about myself and my body and all of these things that you have taught me have just been the most incredible things. And I say that to say that it doesn't matter where you're at. We can change the condition that we're living in.
Absolutely. We always have a choice. And you, and by you not doing anything is making a choice.
Yes.
That is point. Like, let's say that one more time. By
Yeah.
you not doing anything, you've made your choice. You've made the choice
So true.
that you're going to live in pain or whatever the circumstance is, and
Yeah.
you're letting that control you. But I'm going to tell you right now, and David is a perfect example that he made the choice that he did not want to live in pain every day. And look at him
Yes.
now.
That's right. That's right.
Bravo. So
Thank
and
you.
like
Thank you.
and I don't know why I got this weird analogy in my head when you were saying about like doing it every day. So like let's say for example someone was like, hey, if you walk down the block, like a neighbor or something, they're like, oh, if you come to my house every day, I'll give you $5. And at first you're probably like, well, it's just $5. Like it doesn't like, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like, well, I don't feel as motivated to do it. But
Right.
what if they said, if you come every day for a year, well, that's going to be a lot of money. It's going to
Heck
be
yeah.
worth it.
That's
Right?
right. Yeah.
So the same kind of idea applies to your body. Oh, going for a walk down the block, maybe one day doesn't seem like it's going to be that helpful
So
or like worth it. But if I do it every day, you're rich.
literally.
Maybe that's
yeah.
a weird analogy, but
No, it's a beautiful analogy. I think it paints a very great picture to know that, like, when we stick to it, right? The consistency of
yes,
just knowing your worth, your value.
yes, yes,
And that's very clear, to like make a true choice of what you desire your life to be and what you don't want your life to be. I remember we did an exercise, right? In the moments
yes,
where I was really stressed out, you said, write down, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your pain level to be like? What do you want to be able to do? Making that very clear to then say, okay, I'm committing to this because this is what I desire. And we have the ability to
yes,
control that, right? By our
yes,
choices and by our actions. And it's as simple. Can you walk every day for 15 minutes and
yes,
know that in those 15 minutes you can better your life? The problem is, as humans, it's too simple, right? It's like,
yes,
come on. I
yes, but
promise you,
yes.
15
And I
minutes for me
find
changed my life.
it changed my life, and that's all it takes. It literally, not, I bet even just 5 minutes a day.
Yeah.
But what I find too is I find that there's a lot of people that are givers that are injured.
It's you and I
They
right
don't,
there.
they don't, yep, they don't either that or they don't give themselves self-compassion that they don't have to live in pain every day, if that
That's
makes
right.
sense. So if you're someone who's like, I don't have time, I have a family, I have to provide for my family, my kids need me, my husband needs me, I'm stressed at work. Okay, if you're in that state, if you aren't in a place, like if you're in a place of pain, how are you going to be your best self to provide for your family and be there for your family
That's right.
and your kids? You got to look at it in a way of, okay, I'm a giver, but right now it may seem like I'm taking away from my family because I'm giving myself 5 minutes, even 10 minutes of time to myself. But
Yeah.
in the long term, it's going to be so much more, like I'm going to have a better marriage, I'm going to have a better sustainability, I'm going to make a better income when I'm
Beautiful.
healthy. But I feel like that's so impactful because so many times I've had patients break down. They're just, because you can see they're trying so hard to give, and they give and they give, and they don't understand why they're not getting better. And the question is you need to, it's about self, your worth. I love that you said that because that's huge, is understanding that I don't have to live in pain every day. I don't deserve to live in pain every day.
That's right.
And acknowledging I'll be a better mom. I'll be
That's
a better
right.
wife.
Yeah.
If I even just 5 minutes for yourself a day. That's all
right.
it takes.
I
Yes.
deserve to be strong. I deserve to be pain-free. I deserve
Yes.
to live out this
I
life that
will
I desire,
be.
right? And
I will be pain-free. I will be. I
In
am
that-
strong.
in that, we're honoring ourselves. I
Mhm.
think that's one thing I had to relearn, that when we do this and we take the time to self-care and do this part for ourselves, we are literally honoring ourselves. And you deserve to honor
Absolutely.
yourself. You deserve
You're right.
to give yourself the best, right?
Can
Which
I
is
ask you
why-
a question actually?
Yeah, please.
So my question for you, because I remember it like yesterday, you were like going so hard with work. What was it for you when you were go, 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 that you finally were like, hey, I gotta, remember you changed your schedule and you added in more breaks. What finally was it for you where you were like, I need to make a change, or I need to like slow down? What was it?
I knew that what I was doing was only pushing me further away from what was truly important to me, which was to be pain-free and to get my life back, right? Because I think when we're in
Yes.
these places, like we're in a deficit. Like I lost my ability to be at the gym. I lost my ability in the moment, right? I lost.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to.
Yes.
But I recognized that what I was doing wasn't making things better. It was pushing it further away till I had to make a recommitment to myself to say, no, you are worth it. You deserve to have this life for you to
Yes.
be better for everyone else. Until I didn't
Yes.
come to that realization and had that proper click and switch in the perspective of things,
Yes.
it didn't happen.
And it
And
maybe
our
took some like,
conversations helped.
and it took some like of you trialing and erroring. Like I
Oh,
think,
totally.
do you
Yeah.
do you remember the conversation where I was like, hey, like your way hasn't been working, and you're like, yeah, well, maybe I'll just tweak it, like half an hour at the end of my day. I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'll never forget that. And I think, and as anyone, as humans, like I did the same thing. I kept going to the gym, lifting heavy, even though my nervous system was ramped up and pissed off at me. And I was like, I'm just going to keep moving my body this way. But
Yeah.
even though I knew if I listened to my body was still telling me, hey, you can't tolerate those loads,
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I was so proud that seeing you work through that was so cool. Like that's the best part of my job is it's not me telling you what to do. Like I could care less about that. It's about seeing you gain self-control over your life.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
The acceptance part can be hard, right?
Yeah.
Accepting like, okay, this is my new current reality. However, you taught me it's temporary if we choose to change it, right? And so until I didn't get to that place to where I was able to really acknowledge that and accept that and reflect and look at, yeah, it's not getting better. I'm making it worse. Then I humble myself and say, okay, Kristi's right. Dang it. Much as I wanted to prove her wrong, she's right.
Yeah.
And I remember we would laugh about it because I'd come back and I say, you know what, Kristi, you're right. You're right about that. And
you're
it's not that you're looking to be right. It's like you're really wanting the best. You're the best interest for me, right? You're advocating for me and my health. And that's what it helped me to get to that realization, and you being patient and never judging me, never shaming me, never criticizing me, never bashing me or pushing me more than I was willing to give, which is what's allowed me to be in a way better place today.
Oh, well, I appreciate that because I don't know. I love people, and what I love about my job, and I think is really important about being a physical therapist, is understanding your patient and getting to know them, like had I not gotten to know you and understand where your drive of like this overachieving and this push was coming from, and meeting you at your level and being like, you know what, you're like, I totally get it. You're not ready. That was hard for me. I'm not gonna lie, because I knew what you needed to do to get better, but I knew you weren't quite there yet. But I think connecting with people is so important. And like if you are seeing a healthcare provider that you feel isn't taking the time to get to know you or listening and just listening to your needs and what your goals are, and then odds are you may need to look elsewhere. And that's totally fine to get even a second opinion. If the more people I could tell that to, even like me referring to chiro or acupuncturist or you name it, like we're all on a team here. Our goal is to get you better. So if you're with a healthcare provider that is making kind of you dependent on them and they're guiding the treatment plan without asking and involving you, those are red flags.
Good point, which we came to a moment even with our journey, right? It's like, no, I think we need to get some hands-on work and really look at how can we go deeper, because we got incredible results, but there was a bit of a blockage there. And that advice is what allowed me today to be able to say I'm nerve pain free, which is incredible. So with that, share the audience about Reach Rehab. I think it's a beautiful message. I think it comes from a beautiful place that you experience. Share what's your mission, what do you do, and then also tell us how people can reach out to you.
Okay. How far back should I go? Like, can I talk about
to me about your
Africa?
Please. Yes. I want to hear that story. Yeah.
Okay, because that's like the whole reason I started. So I've always wanted to like do some missions work, or just like I love to give back. I was just kind of like, we grew up with not a ton of things, and my parents always instilled in me the importance of giving, even if you don't have a lot. Anyways, so I got invited to go to Africa, and it's crazy how it kind of happened. It was like a, anyway, I won't go too hard into that. But so I end up in Africa. It was a journey to even get there. But my goal or my job was to distribute wheelchairs. So we would put them together, and then we would fit people for wheelchairs. The aha moment for me, or the like life-changing moment for me, is when a mom brought her, I think he was about 3 or 4 years old, three-year-old son in, and I assessed him, and I didn't find that he had a disability like that required him to be in a wheelchair. And what it came down to is that the mother had just always been carrying him on her chest. So with people with kids, they may know of the importance of tummy time, but allowing the kid to crawl and to move on their own is so important for them to develop the muscles and the strength against gravity to walk. So literally, all it took me was 10 minutes of my time to educate the mother and to tell her that essentially she just has to put him down more. Like, that's simple. And cool. It just I don't want to cry on. So it blows my mind, because the look on the mom's face when she realized her son didn't have to be in a wheelchair anymore, like, it changed me. And for me, I left frustrated. I'm not gonna lie, I left Africa feeling like Uganda, feeling frustrated, but also understanding that how impactful education can be. Because originally, like, I might have been like, oh, like, people don't really listen or whatever, but in that moment I was like, this changed their lives. Well, I like to think, but so I came back home feeling unsettled and not understanding how I'm going to use this information, but I knew that I wanted to make impact with education. And then COVID hit, right? So just really threw everything off. So I was still in touch with some of my friends. I made some friendships, great friendships from Africa and Uganda. And a few of my family members were reaching out, because we're all at home sitting around, again, not moving.
Right.
And people reaching out with the same question. I got back pain. Tell me what to do. And even my friends in Africa, oh, I got this injury. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to toss this up on social media and see how it goes. And the feedback was unreal. And it wasn't until one of my friends from Africa was like, commented on a post, or else messaged me and was like, hey, this really helped me. And I was like, light bulb. Like, this, you know, like, because honestly, I completely just started the Instagram account kind of to help others, but I was also super bored. Like, I love to move, you know, it motivated me to, you know, like, I kept my beginning posts up so people can see it. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. But my first one was posting to Instagram, and it kind of, honestly, it just naturally grew, which is super cool. And like, I feel so blessed. But I started people reaching out and sending me paragraphs. Wow, I was in pain for 5 years, and this is the first day I haven't had any pain. And that's when I realized, I'm like, this is my joy. This is my driver. I have to do something about this. I got to utilize this. So it was almost identical to a year ago, like maybe a week ago today, a year ago, when I started Reach Rehab, my own company, went from practicing in a clinic to full-time online physical therapy. So exactly kind of like on camera, which is totally possible, by the way.
It is. Yes. I'm testimony of that. It works.
Yeah, exactly. We did that. And it's been unreal. But the biggest thing, the thing I'm the most proud about, is that I've designed programs. Well, I've only done one so far, but I'm on my next one here soon.
Beautiful.
But it's a back program. So for each person, or for every 2 people that buy a program, a wheelchair is going to be donated to that same exact company in Africa. So we were able to donate, I think it was over, well, my goal was 50 wheelchairs, and we surpassed that. So yeah.
And you're doing what the name says, reaching.
Yes, I didn't want the name to involve me. I had a lot of people say like, oh, I can't find you. Like, why don't you make it your name? And maybe it sounds big-headed me to even say this, but I'm just trying to get the point across. I don't want this to be about me. I want to be about other people. And like, what I thought was the coolest is, so let's say someone is in severe back pain, they buy the program. Not only is it getting them out of back pain, but it gives them the opportunity. Essentially, they're giving like back, like it's them. They're
Awesome.
them purchasing that back program. They get to give a wheelchair to someone. Like some of these people have been crawling on the dirt for
Mm,
40 years of their life. You know, it's like, anyway, it's so
that's
cool. I love it.
that touches me right there. That strikes
Aw,
that
thank
strikes a
you.
place in my heart,
It's
because it's, which is why I love you as a person so much. Like
Thank you.
your heart for the reasons you do things, right? Which is very similar to the reasons I do what I do, right? On the health side. And
Yeah,
I think it's that reason that why I believe, you're having so much success, and your desire to help people, and God is just doing what he's doing for you. And I can't, I'm super blessed to have you in my life. And
now you're making
go
me tear up.
go and follow her. Seriously, all of those that are watching, a part of my community, all the audience, go. You can find her. I'll leave all of her information here in the show notes, but go reach out all social media platforms under Reach Rehab. And can people get access to your programs there on Reach Rehab on
Absolutely.
social media?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On Instagram, it's reach.rehab just because it didn't
Okay,
have
please.
reach
Yeah.
rehab.
Share,
But
share.
it'll come up. It'll come up if you type reach rehab. But the program, so if you are someone who's in back pain, whether it's stenosis, osteoarthritis, sciatica, any of those, the program is very helpful. It's very simple. You can access it in the link in my bio. And yeah, the people that have communicated back to me, that's what also is so cool, because it was my first one, my first
Yeah.
program. I honestly put, and again, here's the overachiever in me. I put everything I had into this program. So
It's
I've
awesome.
had feedback now because it's been about a few months since people bought it, and the feedback has been unreal. So I'm
Awesome.
just, that's what it's about, is I want people to actually be able to be consistent, because that's what it's going to take to get better. And
Yeah.
so far, that's been the majority of people are like, wow, usually if I buy a program, I only do it for like 2 days. And they're like, I'm on my like second month and I feel
That's
that,
cool.
amazing.
That's so
But
cool.
anyway,
That's so cool. And I think that
yeah,
even if you don't have any back pain, seriously,
that's
if
true.
you
Yeah.
can learn about your body and how it moves and functioning, back to our topic, right? Learning your body and understanding your body, do it. You are worth the investment. There is no investment worth what you are worth. I think
Yes.
it'll always benefit you. So go support her, go get yourself, invest in yourself, because that's the best investment we can ever do, and know that she will guide you through the process. How can people reach out to you? How can they connect with you
Oh, yeah.
as we come to a close?
Yes. I mean, you can direct message me. Again, it takes a while to get through all of them all the time, but I will make an effort to
Yeah.
get back to you. But my email is probably the best. It's reachrehabltd@gmail.com. But it is also on my Instagram account. Like, it'll say business email. So if you just email me there, we can connect. Even if you don't want to like buy anything, like, I'm not here to sell. Okay.
Of course not.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't care. I care about people being pain free. That's what I care about. So if you even just want to like ask me a question, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I got TikTok, Pinterest, you name it, like all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
don't be shy to
Cool.
reach out to me. I just really want to connect with like-minded people. So if anyone's listening to this, they clearly are interested in benefiting their health. So
Awesome. You're incredible.
yeah.
All of her information will be in the show notes. Go check her out. Kristi, you're an amazing soul. You're an amazing friend. You're an amazing wife. You're amazing everything.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much for
too.
upholding that excellence and just being the support system we need for our body. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you
I'm
for
excited
having me.
for your future and everything that comes next in your life.
Yes. Yeah. And same to you. So thank you for having me.
My pleasure, Kristi. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
What an awesome conversation we just had with Kristi. She is an amazing soul. And I'm just happy that we were able to have this conversation and really break down the importance of this topic. So I really hope you enjoyed it. And look, reach out to her. She is friendly, she is knowledgeable, and she loves to help. I've put all of her information in the show notes. Go ahead and reach out to her through all social media platforms. Ask her questions, look at her content. Just in the content alone, you're going to be able to get a lot of rich information from it that is going to help you. every single day. I promise you. She's got some awesome routines that you can incorporate in your life. I do that myself. Even though with the information that I've learned throughout my years, I'm always wanting to learn more and seeing how I can bring my body to its highest optimal performance ability. So do that, leverage that. It's there for us. And she's always putting up some really awesome information for us to take for our lives. So again, all of her information is there. Reach out to her. And once again, I just really want to thank Kristi for her time and for sharing all the insight that she shared today. And who knows, maybe we might have another episode in the next couple of months so she could keep breaking down more insightful information for us. So my friends, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I really strive to bring value to your life. I really strive to just bring information that can help you on your life journey. Remember that through every episode, I want to help you live a life of freedom through health in a simple, smart, and sustainable way. And I believe that together we can achieve that. It doesn't matter where you're at. Together in community, we can achieve that. So extending my community, I want to invite you to take a next step, so to speak, into joining my community. Every Friday, I have free Friday trainings, and that community platform is really to answer your questions, to bring insightful information that, again, can help you live that life of freedom. So if you want more information on how you can join my free Friday trainings, click the information there. There's a link in the description. Join, get more information. I'd love to support you through your journey. And if we haven't connected through social media, let's do that. You can find me on all social media platforms under my handle at Dave K. Hernandez. At Dave K. Hernandez. I'd love to just meet you and start a friendship with you. And if you have any questions that you'd like for me to answer, send them to my email, david@davidhernandez.co, david@davidhernandez.co. I'd love to answer those questions for you. And if you want to learn more about how I can support you, about what I do, how I help students through behavioral health and how I help them overcome unhealthy eating habits, food addictions, sugar addictions, whatever it is relevant to health, I'd love to share and have a conversation with you. You can find more about me on my website, www.davidhernandez.co. davidhernandez.co. You'll find it there at the bottom. Reach out and let's have a conversation. Thank you, my friends. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I'd invite you to do that. Click the subscribe button so you can be a part of the community, and click the little bell so you don't miss an episode. You get all the notifications of our up and coming episodes. And if you're listening to me on your favorite podcast station, click the follow button so you don't miss an episode. Thank you again for tuning in. Remember, you are incredible. Go out, crush it, and live your best life. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.